starting with Dr. Michael Ayabei, who's the head of disaster management at the Red Cross, Dr. Ochieng Duncan, who is the Assistant Inspector General and Director, National Disaster Management Unit, and also Madam Susan Ntakai, the Kenyan Red Cross, the Kenyan Coast Guard Services. Soon after the spokesman delivers his message, as it is customary, we will allow you to field a few questions, and thereafter he will do his best to answer all of them. Without much ado, allow me to welcome our government spokesman, Dr. Senator Isaac Mwaura. Karibu spokesman.
Habari zenu. Asanteni sana kwa kuja hapa Jumapili. Asante sana naibu wangu Gabriel Mduma. Nashukuru sana wale wote ambao tuko nao hapa tukiongozwa na AIG wetu Dr. Duncan Ochieng, na pia Red Cross who are very close to us, na msimamizi wa masuala ya jinsia katika mambo haya yote na Madam Takai. I will read the statements and then later on we'll do the needful. We will continue from the outset. I want to say we will be giving daily updates. Tomorrow we shall be going to the Nyanza region because we need also to go to the ground to see what is happening. You know what happened in Nyando. There are about 40 people who are marooned as we speak. Also, the areas of Homa Bay have been affected. We have Migori. On Friday, we were in Gituge to see the affected persons. On Thursday, we were in Garashi, Dagamra, in Kilifi. And so tomorrow, we'll be in the Nyanza region and Western region to see the effect of these floods, because they've really affected many places. Most of the bridges, key bridges in Kipipiri constituency have been, taken away by water. They have been swept away, and also in Gilgil. And we are receiving a lot of, requests for support, including Baringo. People have been marooned. So many places have been affected by these floods across the country. So this statement is just a statement of position of where we are as a government, what are the issues, and then the interventions that we are doing. So this is a daily media brief on the flooding situation in Kenya. The country continues to endure heavy rainfall, especially in the Lake Victoria Basin, the Rift Valley, highlands west and east of Rift Valley, including Nairobi area and southeastern lowlands. Sadly, these conditions are expected to persist, with a heavy rainfall extending to northern Kenya even today. Occasional moderate to heavy rainfall is likely to continue over the western region, that is Kakamega, Vihiga, Busia, Bungoma, and Trans Nzoia counties. Also Lake Victoria Basin, that is Kisumu, Kisii, Nyamira, Migori, Siaya, and Homa Bay. In the Rift Valley, we have Nandi, Bomet, Nakuru, Elgeyo Marakwet, West Pokot, Baringo, Uasin Gishu, Laikipia, Kajiado, Nairobi. All of them are, Narok, they are covered. Then we come to Central, we have Nyeri, Murang'a, Kirinyaga, Kiambu, and Nyandarua. And then Eastern, we have Machakos, Embu, Tharaka-Nithi, Meru, Makueni, and Kitui. So you can see the whole of that, and Nairobi also, which is the most affected. The coastal strip, Kwale, Mombasa, Kilifi, and Lamu, there is expected to have heavy rainfall because Cyclone Hidaya has already hit the Tanzania and mainland. But because of that, there is a lot of wind. And in fact, I can give a test to that. When we were there in Kilifi, the wind was very strong, almost like blowing off the tents. So people in the coastal region, it has been a bit sunny, but expect rainfall, going forward. But I'm happy because we met for example, the Mombasa County Disaster Committee, and they were fairly prepared, going forward, so that then whatever happens, we can take action. So those who are in the ocean also, there is likelihood to have very serious waves, and this is not a matter of conjecture. It's not a matter of joking, because we've actually lost one fisherman in Kilifi because of the strong waves already. So avoid going to the shores, because to do your activities there, because there's a lot of water and huge waves. We've already lost one, and one is still missing in Kilifi County. The continuing rainfall in the central region and the overflow of the 7 Forks dams will exacerbate the flooding in the Tana River Delta, impacting Garissa, Tana River and Lamu counties. Whereas the continued rainfall in Western Kenya and highlands west of Rift Valley continue to aggravate the flooding situation in Homa Bay and Kisumu counties. And that is why tomorrow my office and the Kenya Red Cross will be visiting there. We'll also have CSL Ugowalo helping the distribution of relief food in Kisumu County, in Nyando area. This is also worsened the backflow of Lake Victoria, which has affected Dunga Beach. I know it's very popular for fishing and transport, even of goods to Uganda. Bremba Island, Kobuya, Simbinyaima, Sindo, which unfortunately we lost 2 people the other week, and other areas along the Lake Basin. Additionally, the county of Mombasa, Tana River, Kilifi, Lamu, Kwale, Taita Taveta, and Garissa will experience strong southerly winds exceeding 40 knots, significant ocean waves, potentially exceeding 2 meters high, are predicted in the Indian Ocean from today till 6th May 2024. The waves may affect marine activities. Fishermen and other ocean users are therefore advised to be on the lookout and exercise extreme caution. These strong winds and waves are attributed to the tropical cyclone Hidaya. The cyclone will lead to heavy rainfall offshore along the Kenyan coast from today, Sunday, 5th May, intensifying and propagating into the inland along the coast region from Monday all of the way Tuesday and even Wednesday. So please let us be on the lookout. So people in Kwale, Mombasa and Kilifi will have very serious windy conditions, and small boats and crafts are likely to be filled with water sprays and become unstable. So please don't use them. When you're transporting people, avoid these small boats. You saw the one that capsized in the Tana River a week ago. So don't venture into the deep waters in Kwale, Mombasa, Kilifi and Lamu. Tafadhali tuelewane hapo. Tragically, the ongoing flooding has resulted in the injury of 164 Kenyans. So this is an increase from 125, and you can see that's a very huge increase of about 39 people, with 72 persons are now not known where they are. 72 people. The figure was 90, so at least 18 have been found, but 72 are still missing. Furthermore, the numbers of those people who have been affected directly has risen from the last briefing we had with you of 195,000 to 212,630. So you can see it's an increase, or a very huge increase, going forward of about 17,000 people. And the households have increased from 33,100 to now 42,526. Again, there's an increase of 7,426 households that have been affected. 7,426. So you can see the total number of persons affected across the country, total number of people who are affected, this is not households, is actually 223,198. And so you can see clearly, over and above the households, people who are living in those households, you can see there is a very huge number there of about 11,000, 12,000 who have been affected. Maybe they are the momobogas, their kiosks or what have you, even if their houses may not have been flooded. So it's a serious situation, and we should not take it very lightly, as it were. We do mourn the loss of 9 lives in the past 24 hours, and that includes 7 adults and 2 children, bringing the total floods-related toll to 228 across the country. The government conveys its heartfelt condolences to friends and families who have lost their loved ones. This is a very serious market increase. The last time we did a briefing, or we communicated on a Sunday like this, the people who had lost their lives last Sunday were only 90. But today, as we speak, it's 228. So that gives you a very serious number, a very serious increase of about 138 people. That's quite something. That's quite something. So let us not take it very lightly. And the government sends its most heartfelt condolences to families and friends of those who have been affected. In Getugi ward in Mwaura County, for example, they've lost six people. There are 50 families living at Mwaura primary school, and also the 15 homes have been destroyed. About 70 people have been affected there. There is going to be a mass burial this coming Friday. So you can see how this has affected people, and it's not easy. The mudslide at Mwaura has claimed now 52 lives and 52 other people injured, and still 51 people are still missing. So you can see the national tally here is 72, and out of those 72, 51 are from the Mwaura incident. So the search and rescue operations still underway. There are 151 KDF and 400 NYS officers deployed in the area. In fact, the CDF was there yesterday. The counties of Homa Bay, Kajiado, Nakuru, Mandera, and Nairobi are the worst hit counties. Please take note, Homa Bay, Kajiado, Nakuru, Mandera, and Nairobi are the worst hit, suffering extensive flooding and significant disruption to daily life and economic activities. In response to the escalating risk to citizens residing near the high-risk dams and water reservoirs, the government continues to effect the 24-hour evacuation notice issued on 2nd May. The government is facilitating logistical support, providing alternative accommodation and essential supplies to those affected. In Nairobi County, a multi-agency team is leading the evacuation of people residing in riparian areas, and 163,210 residents have so far been evacuated, either forcefully or voluntarily. The government has arranged alternative accommodation for those affected, and they will be considered for social housing on a priority basis. Let me emphasize this. Those affected will be considered for social housing on a priority basis, and we are taking data. The State Department for Housing is leading this, of course working with the GAO officers, so that then we are able to know how they are going to be accommodated. And there could never have been a better time to really see the reason as to why His Excellency President William Ruto is championing affordable housing. Because if we had huge high-rises, 10, 20 floors, even 30, they would actually be able to accommodate these villages so that people do not die, and so that we can leave those green spaces to be for what they are, catchment areas. The Nairobi Rivers Commission will resume river regeneration along the city's rivers, and nobody will be allowed to settle the riparian areas again. The 17 rivers, nobody will be allowed to settle again. And we are saying this as government. Let this issue not be used politically. It is very easy to whip up emotions because you can claim political capital, but we must act as government. We will act, and the government is not going to backtrack on this one. We will not allow people to go back to the riparian areas, because we must also ensure that we restore our rivers and to avoid this kind of deaths. It is not noteworthy to state that there have been no cases of drowning in all of the areas of Nairobi since the evacuation began. So that tells you this action is bearing fruit, that nobody has actually drowned as a result of the flooding because people have been moved away. This idea of there is water today, tomorrow you start rebuilding, is what is informing us of taking that action. Despite our successful control efforts, one cholera case reported on 26 April 2024 in Tana River County has been confirmed with additional reports of suspected diarrhea cases in Marsabit County. The Ministry of Health is working with a multi-agency team to ensure control of cholera and other waterborne diseases through the implementation of different measures, including 1, provision of cholera contingency supplies to assist in the management of patients. 2, distribution of water, sanitation, and hygiene wash supplies to help purify water sources and treat households' water, all high-risk areas, in all high-risk areas and rescue camps. And we've already distributed those treatment water tablets. We even give them out in Kilifi, so it's very important. As you may realize, actually, even borehole water is now contaminated. Those who are using borehole water, the water is yellowish because the aquifer is yellowish brownish. The aquifer is saturated. So we need to take very serious caution. If you are a borehole operator, if you are using borehole water, take extra precaution, because you don't know what kind of pathogens that these will have. But we have those water tablets. But for those that are private, kindly augment your treatment, so that you don't have breakouts of diseases, even in places where people are not being swept away by the floods. So that is a very serious issue. Most of us here in Nairobi also use borehole water. The government is also strengthening community health education to address risk factors and promotion of healthy practices, such as treating water before use and using community health promoters in that regard. To avert further risk of waterborne diseases, members of the public are advised to properly wash hands with soap and running water, use safely treated water, avoid defecation by using latrines and toilets, and ensure proper waste disposal. And you wonder why we are saying this, because this is the same effluent that we get into water that will go into the households. So let us try to avoid this. I know it may not be very easy, because most of the pit latrines are now full because of water. So you can see there's a very serious potential for outbreaks. So Kenyans, please be aware, take precautions, boil that water if need be, purify it before you take it. Because this is a challenge of having too much water but none to drink. Yeah, so let us look at it from that point of view. And also our water provision companies, the national or county level, whatever area, the government is giving a notice that you take more precaution, the kind of water you're supplying to Kenyans, so that we can avoid this outbreak. If you notice any sign of symptoms of diarrhea or vomiting, please seek immediate medical attention at the nearest health facility, or contact the National Public Health Emergency Operations Center through the toll-free number 719. 719, this operation center, the National Public Health Emergency Operations Center, is at the Kenyatta National Hospital. And we are calling upon our doctors, please return back to work. We need your services. This is the test of patriotism, the nationhood. Come back so that we can help one another, going forward, because it is a matter of national emergency. Despite the ongoing flooding, it is reassuring to note that our national game parks and reserves remain safe and largely accessible. The flood scare in Masai Mara should not cause alarm, as only 2 tented camps along the Talek River have been swept away, and no casualty has been reported in terms of tourists and employees. Contrary to some of the media reports, there is nobody who has actually been swept away. Some who are, in danger were actually evacuated successfully. The affected tourists and employees were evacuated and are safe. Only a few roads in the Mara have been affected, and the park is still widely accessible. The flood waters are subsiding, and travel advisories requesting tourists from not to visit should be ignored. Kenya remains safe for tourists. Hakuna matata. And we have a whole list here of the camps, for example, in the Mara that are safe, those that are affected, but they are okay now. So let us not cause alarm at the international level as if Kenya is inaccessible. In response to this crisis, the government is actively distributing food and essential supplies to the affected regions to ensure that no one goes without necessary support during these challenging times. We urge all citizens to cooperate with local authorities and relief workers and to follow all the safety instructions provided by various government agencies. For those in safe areas, we appeal to your spirit of community and patriotism, laced with generosity, and ask you that you join in the ongoing relief efforts, whether through donations or volunteering. We also appeal to our development partners and the friends of Kenya to support our nation during this period of emergency. We once again commend the government of the United Arab Emirates for their donation of 2 planes loaded with 80 tons of food and non-food items. To report flood-related emergencies, wananchi are advised to call the National Disaster Operations Center, NDOC, where we are, through the toll-free number 0800 721 571, 0800 721 571. The Office of the Government Spokesman, which is the National Government Communication Center, will continue to provide regular updates to Kenyans on the flooding situation and the corresponding government response efforts. We urge everyone to stay safe by avoiding flooded areas and to practice caution around fast-moving waters. Once again, fellow Kenyans, let us prioritize safety and let us take the necessary precaution during these demanding times. Wakenya wenzangu, kwa mafupi, ningependa kusema kwamba serikali inaendelea kujitolea kuhakikisha kwamba Wakenya wenzetu ambao wameathirika na mafuriko wameweza kusaidiwa kwa njia awaye yoyote. Tunasikitika kutangaza kwamba idadi ya waliotuacha imeongezeka mpaka watu 228, kumaanisha watu 9 wameongezeka tangia jana. Jana walikuwa watu 219, na hawa 9, 7 ni watu wazima na 2 ni watoto. Na kwa hivyo tunatoa rambirambi kwa jamaa na marafiki kwa sababu ya janga hili. Pia watu ambao wameathirika na mafuriko haya, idadi imeendelea kuongezeka mpaka watu 223,198, na hiyo ni idadi kubwa sana ya wale ambao wameathirika, na familia manyumba 42,000 zimeweza kuathirika na mafuriko haya, 42,526. Kaunti ambazo zimeathirika zaidi ni Homa Bay, Kajiado na Nakuru. Homa Bay, Kajiado, Nakuru, Mandera na Nairobi, na hususan hapa Nairobi. Na serikali imeshaanza kutoa hawa wenzetu kutoka majumbani mwao. Watu 1,163 wameweza kuondolewa na wataweza kusajiliwa katika mpango wa nyumba wa serikali na hakuna mtu yoyote ambaye ataruhusiwa kurudi katika karibu na mito 17 ya Nairobi. Kwa hiyo wale ambao tumeanza kuona watu wakianza kupiga siasa eti kujaribu kuonyesha kama serikali haifanyi kazi. Serikali ya Mheshimiwa William Ruto haitarudi nyuma. Hatutakubali maafa yoyote yatokee. Tangu tumeanza kuondoa wananchi wenzetu kutoka maeneo yale, hakuna kifo chochote ambacho kimeweza kushuhudiwa ama mtu kuzama kwenye maji. Kwa hiyo ni dhihirisho kwamba mambo haya yote yanakwenda sambamba kutokana na ule mpango wa serikali wa kuhakikisha kwamba tunalinda mazingira yetu, kwa sababu watu walikuja wakahamisha watu hapa Nairobi ili waweze kuwapigia kura, wakachukua vitongoji duni vikatengenezwa. Sasa imefika wakati huu wanataka kwanza kusema lakini watu wakifa ni hii serikali ambao watakuja kulaumu. Tunasema hapana, tutachukua hiyo hatua na hakuna mtu yoyote atakubaliwa kurudi pale. Kama wewe unatafuta njia ya kupiga siasa, tafuta mambo mengine, kwa sababu hii serikali lazima itasimama. Tumeendelea kupatiana chakula, tutaendelea kupatiana hata vifaa vingine, mablanketi na kadhalika. Hata kesho tutakuwa upande kule wa Nyanza na Migori na kadhalika, ili tusaidie watu wetu, kwa sababu tunashirikiana pamoja na magavana kwa sababu ya hili janga la kitaifa ambalo limetujia. Watu wa kule pwani tunataka kuomba kwamba mawimbi yatakuwa makubwa kutokana na utabiri wa hali ya hewa. Pia sio vizuri kutumia boti ndogo ndogo ama kwenda kufanya uvuvi, kwa sababu tayari hata tumepoteza uvuvi mmoja kule Kilifi kwa sababu mambo yamekuwa magumu. Ile cyclone Hidaya imeweza kwenda upande wa Tanzania, lakini tunatarajia mvua nyingi sana hii weekend mpaka Jumanne, Jumatano hivi. Na pia tuseme kwamba tunaomba ufadhili zaidi kwa kutoka nchi za kigeni. Tunashukuru kwamba sasa hivi tumepatiwa chakula na vifaa vingine tani 80 kutoka kule Uarabuni, kule Dubai, UAE, na tunaomba wengine waweze kutunga mkono kama serikali. Na pia Wakenya tuweze kusaidiana, kwa sababu kabla AIG Ochieng hapa kufikie mkuu wa polisi ambaye tuko naye hapa, ama Kenya Red Cross ambaye iko na Michael Ayebei hapa, wewe kwanza saidia pale. Kama mtu ana mahali pa kukaa, msitiri, mpe chakula, alafu tuwe na ule utu na umoja na uzalendo. Nilishangaa sana kule Nakamba, mama mmoja anaitwa Chafu, anakaribia miaka 70 hivi, aliniambia kwake kulisokwa na maji, ilibidi yeye apande mtini kwa juu ya mti. Sasa unamuona mama mkongwe akipanda juu ya mti. Na mambo yamekuwa magumu mpaka hapa Kawasukari. Sio tu ati tunaonekana ni watu ambao wako na kipato cha chini. Hata Kawasukari kuna watu imebidi wakuwe kwenye siri huko juu, kwa sababu kuna dam ambayo ilivunja viungo. Kwa hivyo imevuka mipaka na kusonga pale. So nataka kuambia kwa ujumla kwamba sio jambo la kucheka. Ni jambo ambalo linahuzunisha, lakini serikali iko tayari kufanya vile ambavyo inavyofaa kufanya ndiposa tuweze kuwasaidia Wakenya wenzetu. Sitaki kuzungumza zaidi ya hapo, lakini nasema asanteni sana watu wa vyombo vya habari, sababu mmeendelea kushirikia na kutupa nafasi ya kukuelezea wewe mwananchi kile ambacho serikali tunafanya, na tuenda kwa uhuru, kwa sababu sisi ni watu wamoja. Sasa tumkaribishe ndugu yangu Gabriel aweze kuchukua maswali kutoka kwetu.
Asante sana Spokes. Kwa haraka basi swali lako tufanye vile tunafanyaga, mnaelewa. Tuambie shirika la media ambayo una represent, na swali tafadhali tuwe short kidogo, si ndio?
My name is Mwaura from KBC. Just two quick ones, spokesperson. You've directed the fishermen in the coast area to avoid the shores. Are there any plans from the government to provide alternative sources of livelihoods to these fishermen so that they can be discouraged to go to the shores? And the second one.
Very interesting. We have Mtakai here, but the ladies there are not asking questions. Then they will say we are not gender sensitive. But anyway, let us proceed. Mwaura, it is very important to warn people, the fishermen, because if you don't do so and then they die, there's no livelihood after death. In fact, families will be affected. And that is why we are appealing. The government may not be able to say, you fishermen, you didn't go to work today, we are giving this amount of money, because it's almost impossible to ascertain what kind of numbers. That was what we are saying, those who are close to buy, help your neighbor. We know there is a fisherman there who is not able to go and they need some support, extend that support, because that's their livelihood. But please, it's only for a moment, we believe, it cannot be forever. We take precaution going forward and take it seriously. Usiumwe na njaa sana uende ukakufia baharini, tafadhali. Kwa hiyo hilo ni jambo ambalo tunasisitizia. On the social housing, the priority is meant for people to register. Don't assume because you have been evacuated, then you will just be automatically given. It takes you to be proactive so that that classification that you deserve social housing is there. We are also doing this because we want the statistics to fully ascertain to what extent this social housing is supposed to reach out to people. So please, if you are there, take proaction, go and register so that you also you are in the priority list, first come, first served. And then Nyongesa from Tandao TV. The budget that we have is about 4 billion. It had been revised down to about 3.3 billion, but we'll give you final figures as we go by. The reason being is that needs are assessed on a daily basis. And that budget was for about a week ago. And by that time, the people who are affected were actually below 50,000. Now we are talking about 223,000 people. So you can see it has really increased. This has really increased. So the budget, as of now, is between 3.3 to 4 billion, but we'll assess and go for. That's why we are saying, please, those who can assist, let's work together. That's why we see we have very good partnership with the Kenya Red Cross, because they are there. I mean, they are able to. In fact, they really even helped us to evacuate some people from Mandera, who are affected by some incidents there. So that amount for the UAE, we have 80 tons, and I'm sure in terms of the value for money, the embassy of UAE can declare. But it's not so much about the amount of money, it's that gesture. No matter how little, it will go a long way to assist a family that is required. Kwa hiyo sio mambo ya ni pesa ngapi ambazo zimetumika kuleta zile ndege mbili, kila ndege ikiwa na tani 40 za chakula na vifaa vingine. Ni ule moyo, ndio kupatiana ni moyo. Sasa tunaomba wale wengine pia waungane na sisi, hata mashirika ya Umoja wa Mataifa, kwa sababu ni jambo ambalo limetuadhiri sisi. Nafikiri pia ulikuwa umeuliza swali nyingine hapo kuhusu wale ambao wataangaziwa zaidi, ambao watachukuliwa kutoka katika mambo kama haya kwa mafuriko. Wale watu wakiwa cha chini zaidi ndio serikali inaangazia, kwa sababu hawana uwezo na wanapatiwa mahali watakaa, watapatiwa chakula, watapatiwa hata malazi, na tunanuia kwamba watarejelea maisha ya kawaida vile ambavyo mvua itaenda ikipungua. Vincent Afande kutoka Radio Citizen. Ni kweli bwawa hili ni shida kidogo, na tayari tumeshatoa tahadhari. Wale ambao wanaishi karibu na mabwawa haya, tafadhali ondokeni, usije kushurutishwa kuondoka. Kuna manyumba ambayo yapo, hata nyingine yamejengwa mpaka ubalozi, mtu anakodisha ubalozi fulani. Serikali itachukua hatua hata ya kubomoa. Tafadhali tusiingize siasa kwa maneno hayo, kwa sababu lazima tutengeneze serikali ifanye kazi yake kwa njia ambayo itahakikisha kwamba kesho tutakuwa na madhara kama haya. Kwa hiyo si ati kwamba tukifanya hili wewe unakuja unaanza kusema watu wetu wanamalizwa. Watamalizwa na wewe sauti yako, kwa sababu wakibaki pale wataangamia kwa sababu ya mafuriko haya. Serikali haitarudi nyuma, serikali haitasitishwa mipango yake, kwa sababu serikali lazima ifanye kazi ambayo inafaa. Asante. Kuna maswali mengine? given? Nafikiri kuna wale wako online. Rehab, you can help us. You can have the mic. Give it to Rehab at the end of there to read for us.